Hey guys, and welcome back to the Coder's Legacy channel. In this video, I'm going to teach you guys about threads with timeouts, or more specifically, thread locks with timeout. Alright, now what exactly is timeout? Well, timeout is actually a special parameter, a special setting inside thread locks that allows us to control the duration for which a thread waits. Okay, now by default, when we use lock.acquire, our thread is going to wait indefinitely. This is going to block our program, block our thread's execution until it's able to acquire the lock. So it's never going to proceed to our operation to be executed over here until the lock has been acquired. Now this is okay, this is normal behavior, but the problem is that in big applications, in complex applications, this can actually cause problems for two reasons. One, you may not want your thread to wait more than a specific amount of time because maybe this is due to performance reasons, okay? And maybe the task that it needs the log for isn't very critical, and maybe it can delay it for a future task, right? Maybe we can say wait 1 or 2 seconds for it, and if it's not free by then, just go do something else and then come back to it later, you know. And another reason is actually useful because, for example, we run into some kind of scenario sometimes where we don't write our code properly, and then there's that one in a 100, 1 in 1,000 scenario where our code ends up hanging because something happened where our threads are now depending on each other. Like thread 1 depends on thread 2 to release the lock, but thread 2 also depends on thread 1 to release the lock, and that ends up in a deadlock scenario where both of them are waiting for each other, so none of them are going to release their locks. Scenarios like that are actually possible when you have multiple resources. Okay, so this kind of problem can be avoided using timeout because it'll eventually just stop waiting due to the timeout parameter. Okay, so obviously it's not the best solution. The best solution would be to avoid having these deadlocks in the first place, but this is just a way of error handling. Okay, so yeah, that's just the theory behind it. Let's go ahead and begin the code. So I'm going to create a scenario here where I'll show you how the timeout parameter works. Okay, the first thread that we create is going to be a fairly normal thread, and it's going to take 5 seconds. Okay, thread 2 is going to be a bit different. Thread 2 is going to have the timeout parameter. Okay, and the timeout parameter here is for 3 seconds. If the lock was acquired successfully, then this will return true, so we end up with something like this. Lock was acquired. Do the required task. Okay, but if the lock was not acquired within 2 seconds, we can say timeout, go do something else instead. Go do something else instead. Something else useful instead. Okay, so if I run this code now, we're gonna get the timeout, and that's because we only wait 2 seconds, whereas that actual task takes like 5 seconds. If I reduce this down to 1 second, then the lock was acquired because it waited. Its maximum limit was 2 seconds, but the task finished. The thread 1 task finished in 1 second. So it all worked out. All right. So what we'll do now is actually discuss a scenario, an interesting scenario. Basically, there's one slight problem with our current approach. I mean, it's fine, and in some scenarios, this is the approach you want, but there is still one slight issue over here. First of all, let's just put in those lock.release commands in here, just to make this a bit more realistic. Okay. And then we'll put lock was released. Okay, now there's one problem here. The problem is that what if we need to do this task? The lock needs to be acquired, and there's some very important task that needs to be done. Okay, and we can do something else. Okay, but what if we eventually need to come back here? And the current problem is that we just do this something else task instead, and then the program shuts down. The thread 2 shuts down. So what we can do instead is set up a while loop over here. Okay. And let me just put a sleep command in here for 1 second. This other task takes 1 second. Now look at this. There's a very interesting approach, a very interesting phenomena that's going to happen now. And I'm going to put a break command here as well, so that once the lock is acquired and the task has been done, we're going to break out of this while loop. Okay, so I'm going to run this code now and observe. Okay, timeout. Okay, and lock was acquired and it went and did the required task. Okay, let's increase the duration over here a bit. We'll see some better output. Timeout, okay, 2 seconds have passed. Timeout again, 2 seconds have passed again. Alright, timeout again. Alright, so finally the lock was acquired and it did the required task. So the benefit of putting a while loop here is that eventually we come back to actually, acquiring the lock. So we can go do something else. This increases efficiency. It's more efficient this way that we actually do something else while waiting for the lock. This basically wraps up my video on timeouts in thread locks. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys learned something new today. If you guys found this video interesting, there's another video you guys will be very interested in, I think. It's called the blocking parameter. Just like timeout, there's another parameter called blocking, and that's also very interesting. You should definitely check that out. I'll have a link to it in the description below. Okay, and yeah, do subscribe to the channel. Stay updated with future content on threads, on locks, and other cool Python content. All right, definitely stay updated. All right, and I'll see you guys in a later video. Bye then.